I hope you guys are ready for one of the most incredible theme parks you have ever seen on this channel. Absolutely astonishing. 22 roller coasters, and these are just ordinary coasters. These are extraordinary roller coasters as they are pushing the boundaries of what's capable in Planet Coaster with very innovative, unique, and creative techniques that in many cases I've never seen before in over 600 plus episodes on this channel. This is an absolutely astonishing theme park. It's going to be a long one because we have 22 roller coasters to check out and many, many themed areas. So buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, get yourself a drink and some popcorn, and come join me on today's episode of Park Spotlight. Heyo, my Planet Coaster friends! Johnny5 Alive here, and welcome back to another episode of Park Spotlight. Today we're going to be looking at Plancolandia, created by deathfearsnone. They're an advanced builder in this community. Somebody give this man a promotion. This is looking absolutely insane. And they are also a Ruby patron. Thank you so much for your tremendous support, deathfearsnone. Big supporter of the show. Really do appreciate it. And here they say, this mega park features 22 roller coasters, more flat rides, a family area with different themed lands, and a unique one-of-a-kind coasters featuring a simulated tilt coaster and the fastest inversion on a coaster with over 100 miles per hour. Wild Bear and Stinger are best viewed in track view. I will try to remember that. Wild Bear and Stinger. Best viewed. Well, we're going to experience a lot of these in different viewpoints, and I generally take track view anyways. So it also goes on to say many coasters are named and inspired by YouTubers or Twitch streamers. We hope you enjoy your visit in Plancolandia. Wow, guys, I got so many cool B-roll shots. As you can see from what's been going on in the background, there's some really cool, innovative coaster designs in this park, utilizing so many cool features, and there being 22 of them. I mean, wow, this is gonna be a really, really cool episode, and I hope I've talked long enough because I got a lot of B-roll, and I want you guys to get a little sneak peek of a little bit of everything that's going on in this park. But without further ado, we should just go take a look for ourselves. So why don't we go do just that? Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. There's the coaster going right over the park gates. My goodness gracious, that is how you make an introduction. We had a similar park to this not too long ago that I was absolutely gushing over, doing a similar technique with similar crazy coasters, but this one is really upping the ante with 22 roller coasters. Already hearing some great ambience as well. There's the park entrance there. We don't have any parking lots or anything like that. Can't afford it with the size that this mega park is. I don't think I actually got a shot of this in the B-roll, so there you guys go. 22 roller coasters spread out across what is one of the biggest mega parks of the year. Even a massive lake with a 100-mile-an-hour coaster ripping around the lake there. I mean, there's so much to experience here, so much variety, so much diversity. It is going to be one of the craziest episodes I have seen in a very, very long time. Wow, this is going to be a treat. Frame rate's hanging in there. I'm gonna admit it's not the best, but that is because there's so many themed areas, so many roller coasters. So unfortunately for today's episode, we are not going to have any guests in the park. All right, so I'm gonna set my camera to -6. This is the speed that we're gonna go at. Hopefully that I can hold it steady and slow and smooth. It might be a little on the faster side than what we're normally used to, but that is because we have a long distance to cover. So, kicking things off with the, what did that sign say? We're in the Minxie area, the Minxie Forest, I don't know. This is the Junior Hollow. So why don't we get right on into things, kicking the park spotlight off with a little junior coaster. You got to start somewhere. We might as well start small. And there it is. And this episode is going to be just one coaster after another, and we're gonna try to look at some of the theming along the way. There's the ride results if you want to see them. This one's taking off. Let's get to it. Hey, better than I expected. I actually had a little bit more of a traversal length than I expected for a junior dragon. Some pretty good theming in the surrounding areas as well. If that is just the junior coaster for what we're going to be experiencing with what you see back there, this is going to be a phenomenal episode. And there's a lot of really cool features that I'm going to have to point out as I notice them. And maybe some of you guys might notice some things too that you can point out in the comments that I may have missed, but some of these coasters are not traditional coasters in the sense that deathfearsnone has been really elevating things by adding additional support structures, using unorthodox methods to create his coasters, whether being adding another coaster track. Like, he's built coasters on top of coasters just for aesthetic design, and that is really crazy because in theory there's not 22 coasters in this park. There might be upwards to technically 40 if you count the tracks that were built on top of the tracks. And that is like insane diligence right there. So here we go with the SideWinder wooden coaster. Let's jump right onto this one. All right, there it goes. That's 40 miles per hour. Felt a little bit faster than that. I was getting a little bit concerned how these faster coasters are going to look with the current frame rate, the way it is, and how much stuff is loaded into this park. But it seems to be holding itself together quite well. Hey, I recognize this. I feel like I've seen this before. If I'm gonna make a guess, I feel like we did a ride skin contest, and possibly this made an appearance. This might have been Deathfearsnone's ride skin submission, if I'm not mistaken. Has me questioning, like, have I seen this park? Have I been here before? Am I losing my memory? I don't know. We got a giant inverted coaster there. What do we have here? A cute little hobbit town. And then Matty's Dragon, another junior coaster. So I guess we're getting all the little junior rides out of the way. We're going to skip the line here and just head straight on up and into this cool overgrown boarding station with a dragon on top. This is looking absolutely phenomenal. I like what you did with the color of the dragon here. I didn't even realize this is recolorable. Did you guys? This might be the first time I actually seen someone recolor the dragon. Normally it's red. I feel like I haven't seen that before. Very interesting. There's a look at the ride stats if you guys like to see them, and let's get right onto this. Really cool junior dragon. Wowee. Deathfearsnone is really stepping it up with this park, and I can tell you I've featured several of his parks over the years. Every time his name comes up, every time his parks come up, I am always excited, and he always delivers. At this point, I'm kind of scratching my head wondering, how is this man an advanced builder? So I'll tell you right now, I will go ahead and promote this man to expert based off of what I've seen here. Leave a comment down below as we watch this episode. leave a comment if you think he deserves Master Builder. I'd like to hear you guys' thoughts. We individually rank and review everybody's workshop to see where their quality of their content is, and then the panel of judges kind of determine what rank a person should be. And it's just a fun little side thing that we do for this community because we have so many builders and at different levels, and we want to offer some sort of personal growth and progression within the Discord community. And I think it's just a fun little thing that we've been doing since literally the beginning of time, since the very first year Planet Coaster's been out. So again, scratching my head how deathfearsnone is sitting at advanced, but some people don't manually apply for a workshop review. So here we go. We got the Wild Bear. I think this is the one that they said that they would like us to check this out in track view. I'm actually going to close it down and reopen it so we can get right on into this one. And we are in track view. Let's go. Wow, that was really incredible. What a sprawling coaster. How almost 2 kilometers in length. I don't know if you guys, what was that game called? It was like 6 years old. I think it was called Firewatch, and they had like these little outposts who went on an adventure in the backwoods, solving mysteries and stuff. It kind of gave me that Firewatch vibes. Really cool stuff. All right, I'm trying to keep my camera as steady as possible because the frame rate. So I'm sorry if you get a little bit motion sickness. It's a little bit hard sometimes fighting the camera, but doing my best here. So we have this big overgrown ivy area, kind of a swampy vibes. Poison ivy, very fitting. And here's the queue. Yeah, the theming so far has been absolutely impeccable. And we're kind of working our way up. We're starting, I mean, that bear coaster was quite phenomenal and very long and explorative. But we definitely going on a lot of the smaller coasters from just what I've seen in the B-roll. There are some coasters that go hundreds of meters into the sky. Very tall, very fast, super extreme. While that bear coaster was really fast and explorative, we still have not hit the heights that are to come later on in this park spotlight. So Poison Ivy, there's the stats if you'd like to see them. Nothing that stands out too crazy to me. Let's get to it. I'm gonna do seat view for this guy. All right, very cool. I was saying I can hear some music in the background, and I was saying that the ambience was really good when we started off the episode. But as I've been kind of going through these coasters in the back, I have noticed a lack of music. And some people don't care for music on coasters, and some people do. I'm one of the people that really enjoy a fitting soundtrack to your coaster because I think it adds an element of theming. If you choose the right song for the right coaster, it adds a lot of, you know, just a little bit more of another added element. We go on this coaster here? Oh yeah, okay, that's the junior. I'm gonna get a little bit mixed up here and might even lose track of which coasters we've been on and which we haven't. Here's a flat ride here, but yeah, this is where the music's coming from, is the flat ride. Very ominous. If anything, I would take the music off the flat rides, add them to the coasters. And to my previous point, is one of the reasons that I like the ambient music on the coasters is because it actually adds music to the entire surrounding area, including the queue walk. So you actually get, you know, a little bit of music while you're walking through the queue and waiting for the coaster, which is really nice. Wow, look at the design on this coaster here. So this might be one of the ones using a multi-track coaster, or I don't even know what you've done here. That might be incorrect. Either way, it looks very, very unique. We definitely have some crazy support structures on top of the coaster, which is giving me the illusion that you've added an extra track in there. Looks really nice. Might be one to look at nighttime, but hey, we got the Stinger right here, which again is some really phenomenal theming. I like what you did with altering the colors of the track like that. Takes a little bit of patience to do that, and you have to make sure that your pieces are the right lengths. 4-meter pieces all the way through. Really cool. Yeah, we're going to see some big, bold, epic coaster designs as we progress a little bit further. Green across the board, 1 kilometer in length, 8 inversions, 3 airtime counts. Wow. Let's check this out. It's a single rail coaster, so we're definitely going to have to check this one in track view for the smoothest experience possible. Wow, I am insanely impressed how you fit 8 inversions into this tightly packed area and still got it to be very, very smooth. I mean, single rails are one of the hardest coasters to build and get smooth throughout the entire experience, and I think you accomplished just that. But you did it in a very small footprint. That is really impressive. Okay, before we go left, I want to go right. I want to figure out how we get to this big red menace here. Let's see here. It's got to be right in here, right? A Waddles demon. And get some loony balloons. I don't think you want to grab a balloon on the way to this coaster, though. The demon drop. Yeah, they did not say... I wish you said a little bit more in your workshop description. It was a very brief introduction to not only the submission that you sent in, but if you go to the workshop page to download this park, you don't really say a whole lot about your coaster, how long you worked on it, or, you know, what things you struggled with. A little bit more backstory for each of the coasters would be quite nice. I think this one we'll do at nighttime, and it is a flying coaster? Flying Stingray. There's a look at the stats. This is quite an interesting design for a flying coaster. Let's check it out. I like how you put 2 laps on this. This is such a crazy design. I have to take a look at this in what we call orbit view. Yeah, because I hear all these like pyrokinetics and stuff going off. Let's speed this up here. Take a look at this. Wow. The lighting on this is just incredible. I mean, look at the lighting in the background as well. That pink coaster. Wow. That is really quite insane. I mean, all of these coasters glow like freaking a rave party. Glow stick coasters in the back, actually pretty difficult to do and takes quite a lot of patience. To my previous point where I said there wasn't a lot of information provided in the description, I wasn't sure if there was going to be any nighttime lighting, but apparently there's a lot, and it's looking really cool. Yeah, this is quite insane. I'm just going to go back here and make sure we didn't... Yes, here we go. I had a feeling that the Iron Relli entrance would be around here. Wow, this has quite the hot pink glow to it. I like it. Really cool indeed. Yeah, this is one crazy episode. It is literally like we get off a coaster and not even within 30 seconds, we are already in the queue for another coaster. Really good job at spacing your coasters one after the other like that. I feel like I want to ride this one at day. It might just be too much pink all the way through. And here we go. It's the Iron Relli, 1.5 kilometers, 6 inversions, 9 airtime counts, 4 seconds of airtime, 75 miles per hour, and 100 seconds in duration. Look at this thing just ripping on by. It goes over the park entrance here. I think we're gonna have to do seat view for this guy, and off we go. Wow, freaking way! That is a phenomenal RMC, and what I really like, and I want to point out here, not only the hot pink steel top tracks on top of the bold steel support structure, but we also have custom supports added in everywhere. And one really unique element that this coaster has is this is a single rail coaster built underneath, and then he's gone and disabled the supports there. So what you get is this really cool single rail black strip with the coaster going over top. That just something really beautiful, something I've never seen before. And then you've built a giant custom arch for the second one going over the park entrance here. That's phenomenal. Super sick design. Really like the bold pink on this, on the black. Don't feel like I've ever seen anything quite like that before. Really interesting. Wow, we have like a sci-fi area over here, apparently. I gotta tell you, I'm getting a little bit burnt out of the constant looping flat ride music. Again, I think my only feedback for this creator here today is going to be, you know, and then we get to this side, there's absolute silence because there's no flat rides. But yeah, to turn the music off of the flat rides and add fitting music to each of the coasters because they are spaced out far enough to a point where the musics aren't going to collide or interrupt with one another. In fact, just so the video isn't silent, I might go ahead and add some music to some of these coasters going forward. Okay, this looks really interesting and it has a lot of like really cool lighting. Seems some flashing, so epilepsy warning. And yeah, this is really neat. Londo's stealth bomber, 1.2 kilometers in track, 110 miles per hour. Is this the one that goes around the lake, maybe? Not that many inversions, but this one's just a, a fast coaster. It's gonna be zipping on through. Let's check it out. Wow, we ripped across that lake in record time. I gotta say, I put on a random sci-fi song, and it really had a little bit of a build-up for while we were waiting for that coaster to launch. It actually fit quite nicely. Wow, that is absolutely incredible. Holy pinkness. Oh, I love it. Jarrow Orbit, is this a flat ride or what? Oh, did I go? Oh, what is this? Oh, this is the epilepsy warning, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. It's built within a bobsled. Again, being very creative, innovative. I might have a seizure myself here. Oh my god. Okay, let's put this into test mode and check it out. Okay, here it. Wow. This is cool. I actually love it. What you did here is you took an RMC coaster train, put it on top of a drive wheel launch coaster track, and then built it into a bobsled coaster. It's like 3 different coaster elements. I can't look at this anymore. It's 3 different coaster elements, but it's like as if you designed it to be a Monte Leone flat ride. It just goes round and round and round and round, but very awesome at that. Wow, that's really cool. I mean, I'm digging this nighttime lighting. It is quite interesting. I'm good with walking around at least the sci-fi area a little bit longer with the lighting like it is. The Outlaw Tower Defense. Okay, like I said, one coaster after another after another. It's probably going to end up being over an hour long episode just based off of my intuitions of how these things go. If I'm going to make a guess, I'm going to say an hour and 20 minutes, but I don't know. I do not know. This is going to be one coaster after another for at least an entire hour. Outlaws Tower Defense coaster. Here we go. What do we have here? A looping shuttle SLV. There's a look at the ride results. Nothing crazy on this one. I think I'm fluking out picking these soundtracks for these coasters. But yeah, I mean, I think that is part of the fun of creating these things, right? You did this really over-the-top theming, and that song that I picked is almost like Star Wars Empire style music, and I think it fits really well with your theming and the kind of the war artillery defense system. You even have like an ATA walker, basically. Very Star Wars feeling stuff there. And to my point, I think choosing the music is actually part of the fun. You put all the work into the coaster, and you got to choose the perfect soundtrack for it. And that is quite fun. Oh my god, I am in love with this already. Cow King Spin. It's a queen. it's a female. Got milk. Oh, it's a milk carton. That's adorable. Oh. Oh my god. I love this. I have to check this one out at daytime, even though the nighttime light is pretty impressive. Cosmic Cow is one of the iconic characters in the Planco universe, and they did, what was this park called? It was called Plancolandia. So I expect to see some cosmic cows make an appearance and some other iconic characters from the Planco verse. There's 400 meters in track length. We're going straight upside down for this one, 4 inversions, and we're going to be doing some spinning. So if you get nauseous, hold on. Whoa, what do you even say about that? First of all, I think we crash our heads into the other riders on this one. Yeah, we might see it when they go up here. It might just be like the one I got extremely unlucky with smashing our heads. Nope, maybe it happens every time. Gonk! Loser heads. I really love the theming of this. I hated riding it. The spin wasn't really well controlled. It was, you know, shaking back and forth, rocking back and forth. It was, yeah, I'm not a fan of the spin control on that one, but I am absolutely love and adore all of the theming got into this. It's very interesting that it's like sci-fi on the front, fantasy on the back, and that transitions us out of the fantasy area. Very clever. Really like that. Fun little flat ride over here. We are not going to be riding the flat rides in today's episode. We have way too many things to take a look at. I mean, I don't even know if I want to go in all of these shops and facilities. There's trees growing inside this building. Pretty naked and unthemed on the inside, but I guess it serves its purpose. Wow, that is quite the centerpiece for the Hollow Knight. Wow, that is beautiful. That's some insane artistry right there. That's one of the coolest fountains I've ever seen. Really well done. And here we go. I have to see if there's some crazy, ominous nighttime lighting for this area, because we have this Gothic cathedral style build here with an inverted coaster going through and an inverting ring ride, the Elden Ring. Nice. And into the cage queue we go. This is kind of terrifying, but we can still hear this. That's why you have to turn the music off on the flat rides. It's still here. Should not be hearing that while on this ride here. Okay, here we go. An inverted coaster. There's a look at the ride stats. 1.3 kilometers. I think every single one of these coasters has been at least a kilometer long, other than the junior rides. That is quite cool. I'm super curious. Hollow Knight. This is actually based off of a video game, isn't it? This character here is the Hollow Knight from an indie game. I've never played it, but I feel like I've seen it on Steam, if I'm not mistaken. And I was gonna say I totally picked the wrong music, but then after seeing the Hollow Knight character, the music I picked was a little bit playful and silly, but still ominous and spooky. And at first I was like, I definitely got it wrong, and that's what happens when you make me pick. But I think it actually worked out quite well, all things considered. This is a really cool area to the theme park. These buildings are absolutely insane. What is going on back here? Is this all just for the coaster? What is this castle here? Is this this is just decoration in the, it's just a landmark put in the back of this themed area. Literally just as a landmark. Beautifully done. Really beautifully done. I mean, this whole area just encompasses one coaster and one flat ride. That is a lot of theming, a lot of effort gone into this Hollow Knight area. I'm a big fan of what you did here. This is phenomenal. Absolutely incredible. Wow, Death Fears None. Really pulling out all the stops here. Let's go see what else this park has to offer. Holy good googly moogly. We're hauling ass now. Oh, look at that. It's the Harley Quinn. Neat. Very spooky. What's the ride called? The Toxic Quinn. Hey, I recognize the person. I can almost tell you right now, Chris Darkart drew this. It's the same creator that drew my character for my YouTube channel. I don't know who this person is. It's a streamer, obviously a streamer, a YouTuber, and they went to Chris Darkart to get their art for their stream. Death Fears None did say most of the rides are inspired by a streamer or YouTuber. I think I'm pretty correct on that being a Chris Darkart creation, which is pretty cool. He's definitely got like a recognizable art style, and I think I've gotten to draw me over 20 characters. So a lot of the mods I originally was getting their characters drawn up. I haven't done it for the most recent mods. My apologies for that, moderators. But it feels like every time we get new mods come and go. They come and go, and I keep buying characters for people just to have them leave like a year later. But that's completely understandable. But I should go get a few more. I like getting these cool drawings from Chris Darkart. Amazing artist. Go check him out, guys. So here we go. We have the Toxic Quinn coaster, a floorless werewolf, but it also is designed like a boomerang or something with a launch track. So again, very innovative, unique, doing something different here. Launching us at 32 miles per hour with 4 inversions on this bad boy, or bad girl, should I say. Bad lady. Let's go. That's it? I also forgot to put music on it. Oh, that's so meme-ish. But I actually kind of like it, all things considered. It's like what Death Fears None is doing here is basically designing like flat rides with coaster pieces. We saw that with like the Monty Leon spinning one with all the flashing lights. You're gonna be inhaling a lot of fumes on this coaster. But yeah, kind of like it resembles that of like a little flat ride. I much prefer a custom coaster ride like this with the cool theming and the lighting and all that than just sitting there and going on a flat ride. Pills, Tidal Wave. Okay, so Death Fears None, you said, see, like I want to know who this streamer is, you know, and more about them and their thing, their stream or their YouTube, so that we can give them a shout out. So what I featured recently from Chet B, I don't know when this video is coming out, but it would have been just a week or two ago, I'd imagine at this point. Chet B did a really good theme park called Champions Garden, and what he did that I really appreciated on the Steam page, he gave a description of each of the coasters, the challenges that he went through, the methods he used, the inspiration that he had for each of them, and I read all of those descriptions while I was kind of going up the lift. And if you could do that for your future coasters, and if you would have done that for this park, I think it would have gone a long way, because Pills is probably a YouTuber or streamer as well, and we could give them a shout out, and we could, you know, give a little bit of backstory gameplay, also to the coaster, and what kind of cool features, because I've been noticing you're doing a lot of interesting things, either swapping the train out. This even looks like a dive coaster, if I'm not mistaken, based off of the walkway here. It looks like a dive coaster, but then you've swapped out the train for something else. And I want to know, it says Free Swing Pioneer, actually, not a dive at all. So that normally this coaster has the little bird with the bucket seats, and it swings back and forth. It does have a similar width and walkway to that of a dive coaster, though. And then you've swapped out the train. So that kind of information is really interesting, I think. And I also think the audience would enjoy learning a little bit more about your coaster there. So here we go. We got 100 seconds of duration, another kilometer, 60 miles per hour. What's the biggest drop? 33 meters on the drop here, and 2 inversions and some air time. Let's go check out this coaster. Would you look at that? Ladies and gentlemen, it ended up being almost like a dive coaster. I thought the track looked like a dive, and then it ended up holding us at the top like a dive coaster would, with a straight vertical drop, but also a very interesting design on it as well. And I absolutely nailed the music yet again. Just by pure luck. I have no idea what I'm picking. I'm not that familiar with the Planco music, and I'm not going to sit here listening to all the tracks and if they match up with the coasters. But one thing that Frontier has really done with their audio engineering, which I find particularly interesting, let's go back to daytime. They loop the audio, and they loop at lifts and stuff. So when the coaster was at the lift there, like when we dropped, it kicked into like the chorus or the high beat or whatever, like the main feature or the main high point of the track. And there's some sort of system where the game knows to just loop the music until to only advance the soundtrack when the coaster starts to do a drop or whatever. It has some very interesting tech. Tailspin, another creation that I remember seeing from one of our ride skin contests, for sure. Definitely remember seeing this. This is really cool. I like seeing creators participate in our community contests, then add their blueprints into their parks. I've seen that a few times. That is a bit of a reoccurring thing. The creators are obviously working on their parks, and then they are like, oh, you know, we got a ride skin contest, a shops contest. This is a good opportunity to make a really elaborate ride or shop for the theme park that I'm working on, add that into the theme park while also simultaneously participating in a contest, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Really cool. Okay, wow. We are still only just getting started, i.e., I don't know what the coaster count is so far, but I feel like we've ridden at least 10. This seems like an absolute insanity RMC. Didn't we already go on an RMC? Yeah, we did. It was the one that went over the park entrance gate. But this one seems like it has a lot more coaster elements, and it goes a lot higher and a lot faster. And it has a really interesting spiral lift, which I don't think I've ever seen done before on an RMC. I have a feeling that deathfearsnone might also be using a Planet Coaster mod. Curtie's Zinger. Shout out to Curtie. 1.1 kilometers, 56 miles per hour, 2 inversions, 4 airtime counts. Absolutely insane. Let's check it out. Ridiculous. deathfearsnone is gonna have to add me as a contributor to this park because I'm picking all the right music. Curtie Zinger, holy good googly moogly, was that absolutely gnarly. Love the lift on that. It's actually like a little lift segment and then it turns, and another lift segment and it turns, and the coaster's just long enough to span between each of the little chain lift bits. I find that to be absolutely hilarious. And there's a big splashdown on this coaster that we did not see because we rode this one during the nighttime. Water's very hard to see in this game at nighttime. I mean, I guess it's hard to see in real life at nighttime too, isn't it? Wow. A very intricate medieval style build here. Is that even medieval? Kind of English, right? Yeah, I'm not too sure. All that just for a flat ride, and a very elegant design for such a heavy metal flat ride too. Espion Steeler, let's score. Let's score. Is this gonna be a shooting ride? No. What's the story behind it? Death? Fears none. You gotta let us know in the future. Whoa. Does the coaster actually do a complete circuit? Whoa. Is this like a Mobius style? Or it's dueling? It's dueling. That's cool. And it does do a complete circuit. It's like a figure 8 dueling coaster. I mean, this is a bit trickier to ride. I think what we should actually do is just appreciate it. Is all. Ah. I was gonna say from an orbit view, we can still do this. So it builds up its momentum. And there we go. Here we go. Let's check this out. Holy moly. You get a little bit of a high five there. Love it. Back through the station. Up and through. Spin around. Get that high five. Again, so while there are 22 coasters in this park, you've made a lot of them shorter, smaller, kind of like resembling what should be in its place of just a flat ride plop down, but instead doing something interesting, innovative, and unique with your coaster designs along the way. So that is a really good way to stretch out your coaster count, Algos God of Pain, by, you know, having some smaller, more interesting designed coasters in between all of these crazy long, epic extravaganza experiences. And even these big, long ones, you've done really interesting things with that I've really come to appreciate. Hey, we got the Moomin Little Trax. Shout out to Moomin Little Socks. Definitely can catch that one. God of Pain. Okay, here we are at the God of Pain. Anything at 1.6 kilometers, almost, biggest drop is 70 meters and 83 miles per hour with 11 airtime counts. Great Scott! Great across the board. Holy moly. Let's go up the proper coaster here. Go in seat view. Here we go. And the big splashdown at the end. Got a bit of a water theme going on in this side of the park. I like to see it. Really cool. Okay, let's check out the Moomin Aqua Trax. Continuing with this water theme that we got going on here. Something really interesting going on here. It looks to me like you built a log flume all the way around and put a coaster inside of it. This is... Oh no, it's a water cascade on top of a log flume track. I have never seen that before. This is the official log flume coaster, ladies and gentlemen. Another really interesting and innovative 1 kilometer coaster at 60 miles per hour on this log flume roller coaster. This is bananas. Oh wow, look at this, and it appears like it's also a launching log flume. Oh, the innovation never ends. So cool. My goodness, that is super wild and crazy. Not sure what happened to my audio track there. It appears like it attached itself to one of the cars, but not all of them. You can hear bits of music passing by us. A bit odd there. That is extremely difficult, and I have a feeling that he's definitely used a mod at this point, because I don't think you could do this with a log flume track without a mod. That is really stellar. I love just seeing like the log flume track stretching out like this, and then seeing a coaster track on the inside creates for some crazy dynamic coaster layout that I've never seen before. Again, deathfearsnone is taking these coasters and doing something very original with each and every one of them. And here we go, right off one coaster to another, and what do you know? Another Chris Dark art drawing right here. Kane Wolf. There they are. I feel like that's Chris Dark art. You're gonna have to let me know in the comments down below. Deathfearsnone. Am I right about that? Chris is like basically done a YouTube character or a Twitch character for all of the up and coming Twitch and YouTubers. Yeah, I remember getting my art done by Chris. I did it 7 years ago, and at that point he was fairly new to it, and I would pretty much see everybody getting art from him. So we have a wooden coaster here. It's green across the board. 71 miles per hour, 1.5 kilometers, 7 airtime counts, 7 seconds of airtime. Let's go. Absolutely epic, Woody. Oh, that goes hard. With the Planet Bluegrass and a massive inversion over this giant doggy evil doggy Final Fantasy summon. That is so gnarly. And this does bring up an interesting talking point, because I have a feeling deathfearsnone did not make this. I've seen that before. I've seen it on the workshop. Some of the creations that I had pointed out earlier as, you know, being contest participations might not have actually been built by deathfearsnone. They might just be taken from the workshop. And just as a word of advice to the creator, deathfearsnone, just out of manners and consideration, be sure if you're going to take some of these items just to give some shout outs on your workshop page. Like I said, your workshop page almost says nothing about your park, doesn't give any backstory, doesn't give any information. So that is it's not direct feedback to the park itself, it's more direct feedback to your approach on things, and, you know, give you more information on each of the coasters, what designs you put into them and why, and who the shoutouts for the creators, you know, for the YouTubers, the streamers. Give us a little bit of backstory of Kane Wolf and that sort of thing, as well as giving shoutouts to the people's blueprints that you used, because I definitely recognize some of them from our contests, which may or may not have been your own. But holy good googly moogly, I'm actually surprised that we are at the end of the episode here, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna go through the ride list to double check just to make sure we've been on all of the coasters. I don't even know how long my recording is at this point, but it feels like it went faster than I expected it to. But it's just been one coaster after another for what feels to be about an hour. Holy good googly moogly. I didn't even feel like I got to talk that much because the time between each coasters was so short. Okay, let's check the ride list. Dolga's Swamp Thing, I believe I missed this one. It's so hard to know if I missed a coaster or not, because there's so many of them that my short-term memory is fleeting. But we're gonna ride this one maybe again. I don't know, but let's give it a go. Okay, definitely feel like we didn't ride that one, and a little sad I forgot to add some music to it. Now you can really notice it when I don't have the music on these. Okay, back to the ride list. All right, I have made it through the entire ride list. We have officially ridden everything. May not have gone on every single flat ride or taken a look at them, but we definitely passed by all of it. Good googly moogly. I gotta say, for what you called Plancolandia, the only iconic Planco character in this entire theme park is the Cosmic Cow. I do think that is a good choice if you're gonna go with only one of them, but you know, there's some references to some other games, but mostly the whole thing is a bit of a tribute to both YouTube and Twitch streamers. So I don't know, maybe you should have called it like Twitchlandia. I don't know. It doesn't roll off the tongue as nicely as Plancolandia, but I do understand that this was built in Planet Coaster, so you're saying Planco for short and just calling it Plancolandia. But when I think of Planet Coaster and a Planco themed theme park, I definitely feel like the iconic characters from the Planco verse should be a little bit more inclusive. But that's just a tiny little gripe that really just plays off of the name of your theme park and my expectations for it going in. Doesn't mean I'm disappointed by any means at all. I mean, this was an absolutely incredible experience, and again, bringing back to some of my earlier rants and tangents, what you've done with these coasters is very innovative, original, unique, creative. I particularly like this log flume cascade coaster. That was like really cool. You've added an inversion to a wooden coaster. I think pretty much every single coaster, even like just this RMC, you've got a spiral lift on there. You know, pretty much every single coaster has either its train swapped out, its track altered, or doing something in terms of coaster elements has been modified in a way that you don't normally see regularly in Planet Coaster Park spotlights. So I definitely appreciate all of the innovation and creativity gone throughout this park, the over-the-top theming, the pace of everything. You know, the layout was so good that we just like smoothly rolled off of one coaster onto the next and just moved from spot to spot to spot. The coasters themselves, the experiences themselves, the artistry and creativity that you put into everything here, and getting 22 roller coasters into this park. And it did run actually pretty decently, all things considered, when I compare it to other mega parks that I open up and go, oh, my computer can't even handle this, we're moving on to the next one. I opened it up and I was like, this is definitely doable, and I'm excited to ride all of these coasters. So made for a very, very enjoyable experience for me. I had a ton of fun. deathfearsnone is definitely killing it. We're going to definitely be giving you a promotion to at least Expert Builder. Do you guys believe he deserves Master Builder off of this? We're going to have to take a look at your workshop page and exactly see where you're at. But as far as I can tell, everything that deathfearsnone has ever submitted has always been a riveting experience through and through, and this one absolutely delivered yet again. So keep doing what you're doing, deathfearsnone. Keep it up. Maybe take a little bit of my feedback in terms of adding some more information for us in your future creations, so that we can give a little bit more of a backstory and inform the viewers on what's happening with some of your creations and what decisions you decided to go with and why. I think having a little bit more information and getting to know the creator is always a positive thing. So very, very minor suggestions from me here today. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen. What did you think of this awesome Plancolandia? Fire away down in the comments below. And that is going to do it for me in today's episode of Park Spotlight. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye now.